body. Can't even reach that party. Don't invite me to no party. Bitch, pull up in that. It's so They ask how I get that. I'm a hustler, baby. You must not know me, baby. I'm off the better things. I'm only doing shit that's gonna make me elevate. Only one people around that's gonna make me better. In that. It's so They ask how I get that.
What's up, YouTube? It's Naya Simone, and either welcome to my channel or welcome back to my channel. So today I am coming with a highly requested tutorial. I call these the Fairylocs. People can refer them to as Butterflylocs. It's really up to you. I will be using the Cuban twist hair and the fretress waterwave hair for this tutorial. Now it is really up to you on what hair you would like to use. I have not tried any other hair, but this hair is what works for me, and this is the hair that I will be using today. So as you can see, I'm starting off by making a part using the Shine and Jam gel, which was in the yellow jar that I previously showed. I am using a edge brush, or whatever you refer to it as. I'll be using this the whole entire video. Like, this is my comb and my brush. It not only parts it for me, it helps me smooth the hair out better. Now for these parts, I will be parting in 3 at the bottom. Now I would say it's really up to how your client's head or either your head is, for how you would want to part it. Her hair wasn't too thick. She did just get a big chop, so her ends were kind of coarse, but it was really easy to manage. But I would say you will see me using the Shine and Jam a lot. Like, I feel like this is the most important part because it's the foundation. So you want to make sure the hair is parted to the T. I would say I love clean parts. Like, clean parts is everything. So I would say part the hair to the T, literally, and make sure the hair is laid down. Do not rush the parts. This is the most, like I said before, it's the most important part. You want to please your client, or even if you're doing your own hair, you want to make sure your parts are clean. So even if you feel like you are going slow, I remember when I first started, I did not move as fast as I do move now. And I've only been doing hair for about a year now. And when I first started, I was a little slow. Not going to even lie. Because I wanted to make sure that mug was perfect. Like, my parts were perfect. I'm talking about that mug. But yeah, I won't really just explain too much on here. I will be parting in 3, and then you will see for my next row, it's going to be as if it's a window. Now, as you will see, I will be parting her part smaller than what I usually do. She did request for her parts to be smaller. So depending on how either big you want your parts or your client wants her parts, you will part accordingly. But in this video, I will be doing her parts. They're not small, but they're not large, like I usually do in the previous videos that I did show at the beginning of the video. You will see how their parts are a little bigger. But yeah, I'm gonna stop talking right here. Okay, so right here I do want to add, to help you make the better part, I would say keep lifting it up to see how big the actual window will be. As you see right here, I'm lifting it up, and I'm also brushing just to see how big this area will actually be, or window, however you want to call it. Again, I'm adding all my shining jam just to make sure my part will be crisp and it will be an accurate window. So after I've done that, I'm now going to go from the bottom to make a middle part just so I can get started with my part. No, this is not straight, but again, I'm going to add my shining jam to make sure it is straight as possible. So the reason why I am starting from the bottom, I have found it more easier for me to make a straight part and an accurate part from going from the bottom and then just fixing it up when I go back to the top. But you can try that and see if it works for you. But now I'm going to go in and add my 4 different squares, boxes, again, whatever you want to call it. When you're doing these parts, you also do want to make sure that it is a window. I find that it looks better whenever it does, look like a window. It looks more neater. Right here, I'm showing, okay, it's not perfect, but the goal is to get it as perfect as possible. So next, right here, as you can see, I'm just brushing it out. Just bringing it out in a way where I will be able to, part it perfectly next. But right here, I'm just getting out a certain amount of hair. So then next I can go in with my shiny jam over that and make the perfect part. So now up here, it is typically more hair at the top than it is at the bottom in this situation. So what you would have to do, the parts do typically get a bit bigger at the top, but you do want to try your best to keep the parts the same, to keep the squares the same. Just try your best. No, it won't be perfect. And y'all, as you can see, my wall fell. My little wall fell. But your whole thing is, no, it's not going to be perfect. But, you know, do it the best as you can. And you will get better as you just keep doing it, honestly. And we're done. So as you can see, there are more rows than normal. So the parts are typically more smaller than normal, especially at the top. So I was able to go ahead and start and do my first row, but now I will be explaining how in the world did I just do that. So here we go. Right here, as you can see, I'm going to be figuring out the Cuban twist hair. And yeah, you see the flyaways that I'm just gonna go ahead and add in the braid. No big deal. But with this Cuban twist hair, I don't start from the roots to braid it on in. Why? Because I want the roots, I don't want them to be as thick and chunky. So what I do, I add it in as best as I can towards the ends. Now with the Cuban twist hair, you want to make sure it's thick enough, but it's not too thick. Depending on how big you want your lock. But I don't really get that much hair when it comes to the Cuban twist hair. I get like a medium amount, and I go ahead and braid it in because I want it to be a consistent look, not too big at the top, too bottom at the small, or too bottom at the small, too small at the bottom. And right here, you're going to see that I'm just going to go ahead and do the whole row. And then I'm going to begin my wrapping next. So I know you're probably looking like that looks a whole mess, but the thing about that is we're gonna cover it up. So as you can see, I'm getting my fretress waterwave hair, and I'm fingering that out too. So with that, you don't want to finger it out too much, but you want to finger it out to the point where it can be wrapped and it just won't be, you know, stuck together like the normal way that it comes in. So right here, I use that little tool. Now, if you don't know how to use the little tool, I'm sure it's videos on, you know, how to use that. I didn't really go into detail how to hook that on in, but I put that through her hair and grab the fretress hair and pull it back through. And I went ahead and grabbed the fretress hair and wrapped it around just a little bit. But you want to make sure, depending on how you wrap, you want to make sure that it's more on one side than the other. In the shortest side, I wrap it, you know, around the braid just to make sure that it's secure. Now, I didn't start from, you know, the roots right here to explain this part, but I will be on the second lock. Now, right here, you will see me adding glue just to go ahead and secure the lock before I add some more fretress hair. And her hair is not that long. So as you see, I didn't add the glue where her hair will be. You want to make sure you're not gluing their hair. Now, the second time that I do add glue would be towards the end, and I wrap back up in the upward way, but I don't think I show that in this video. But when you do add glue, you do not have to add too much, but you want to make sure you just add enough to where, you know, it'll stay. Now, you don't have to use glue, but just again to make sure that it's secure, I like to use glue. Another reason why this was hard trying to record and show you guys is because I usually stand up when I'm wrapping just to get more of a grip on my wrap. But I did try my best to show, you know, how and what I do to secure the lock around. So right here, we're going to go ahead and repeat the process. Put the tool through. We're going to go ahead and hook the fretress hair to the tool. And then we're going to pull it on through. Pull it on through. Then, because I wrap overhand, I'm going to make sure my right side is longer than my left side. So I'm going to pull on the right side more, as you see. And that little bit left hanging, I'm going to wrap it around the braid. Now, because you see how wild it is on the braid, again, it's going to be covered up. So I just hold on to it as I'm wrapping. And as you see, I'm going to add my shining gem, as I should, just to make sure it's clean. So right here, I know most people, I think underhand, but I don't even know. Overhand is just very comfortable for me, and I've been doing it. This was so hard, y'all, sitting down. It was so hard. You just don't understand. But move everything out your way and go ahead and wrap. Even if you underhand, overhand, whatever you do, go ahead and wrap. And you want to make sure it's very gripped. Make sure it's gripped because you want it tight at the roots. You don't want it too tight, but you want to make sure that it's tight. Now, the fretress hair does tend to, get back into its form. You want to make sure you kind of comb it out before you end up wrapping it around, or it won't give you that look that you're kind of going for. Now, as you see, to make that, I don't know what you want to call it, that messy looking look, I'm wrapping, and I'm going to, I usually don't have nails, but right now I do have nails, of course, as you can see. I'm going to use my nail and pull that hair through before I wrap it back around. So I don't really know how to explain that part too well, but I did slow this video down right here just so y'all can see how I grab the hair randomly through with my nail and then continue to wrap around. Now with these, they are less textured. With the other Fairylocs that I originally do, I'll probably insert a picture right here. But these are very much less textured, so I'm not really just pulling too much hair out. So she did want her locks mid-back, so meaning if you're ending that first amount of fretress hair and it's not the length that you would want or your client would want, you want to go ahead and get some more fretress hair. And the way that I do it, I put the fretress hair, again, I make one side longer than the other, and I wrap around the original ending spot. And I continue, wrapping. Again, I did not really probably explain that pulled through part well enough. I can make another video on that, on how I do that. But, yeah. And you're just going to repeat the same process for the whole head. I would say whenever it comes to the texture part, depending on how your client will want it, that's how much you will pull out to give you that look. Or depending on how thick your lock, will be, depending on how big your client will want it or how big you would want it, you will put, more fretress hair. You will use more fretress hair, if that makes sense. Regardless, I will be making more videos just to explain everything better. But let's continue. Right here, I'm making it to where it'll be like a little curly end at the bottom. So you want to make sure you're doing this towards the end where it's not the length that, you know, the rest are. You want to make sure it's a little shorter than the others. And you're going to cut a little amount of the curly fretress hair. And you're going to make sure it's less on the left side again and more on the right side. But you're going to leave a good amount out on the left side to where all you will need to do is wrap just a little bit on the right side. And you just, when you're going towards the end, you want to make sure you have, you know, the curly ends out. So you'll be able to cut, you know, enough out at the end, as you can see. And, you know, get as, you know, much out as possible. Yeah, I'm trying my best to explain this, so bear with me. But as you can see, I have the little curly ends out. You know, some people like that, some people don't. Make sure, you know, ask before you do end up trying this. But yeah, that's how I get that little curly look at the end. Now, if they want more, you leave out more. If they don't want more, you can just cut, you know, as much out as needed. And we're done. Now, this style did take me at least 4 to 5 hours to do, and usually does take me at least 4 to 5 hours to do, depending on how much hair the client has and how long or thick, you know, they would like their locks. Now, that doesn't mean it might take you that long, or it might take you longer, but as you keep trying and attempting to do them, you know, you will get better and faster. Now, if you do happen to try this style, make sure you tag me at Lock by Knot on Instagram. And if you have any questions, comments, please feel free to leave them down below. And to stay tuned for more, make sure you subscribe. And yeah, thank you for watching, and see you on the next video.
Baby, you must know me, baby. I'm off the better things. I'm only doing shit that's gonna make me elevate. Only one people around that's gonna make me better. It's so ooh, ooh. They ask how I get that ooh. You make